Welcome back, moviegoers, to another edition of Going to the Movies. Today we are in Los Angeles, not Boston, for one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Don't make fun of me, it's Legally Blonde. Let's get started. So let's quickly recap that opening sequence. We first start off at Caltech, which stands in for CULA, Elle's undergrad school. The girl is riding her bike, getting the congratulations letter signed by all the sorority sisters, and here's where we start. So there's the fountain, as we see her ride across that first, and then we move over to a street just at the edge of campus. This is the corner of Oakdale Street and Hill Avenue, and this is the row of fraternity houses and sorority houses that she rides the bike along. So that yard right there, with the brick on either side of the walkway, is where the girls were playing Frisbee. And then as she rides along, she goes in front of this house, which has a group of fraternity guys cheering her on as she goes. Those guys were actually not supposed to be there. They were real frat guys from Caltech, and they stormed the set unannounced. They wanted to see the production, see what was going on, and they decided to ask them to join in as extras. So that's pretty cool. And then as we continue along to this house, it's another fraternity house in the movie, but in real life it's Caltech's Office of Admissions and Financial Aid. And then she rides her bike, turns up that corner. Our first big location is the Villa del Sol d'Oro, all the way up in the city of Sierra Madre. Elle's sorority house, the Delta Nu house. And we get to go inside today because in real life this is an events venue and there's a wedding later today. But the event organizer for the building told me if I got here early enough, I could walk through and see everything. So let's do it. Going back to the opening sequence, which moves kind of quick, we see the letter delivered to the door here. She passes through the foyer where you catch a glimpse of the stairs on the left and that door. She then moves into what I guess is a gym in the movie. By the way, I love this girl in the background here, the way she's like dance exercising. Just perfect form with the 3-pounders. Next room is what I call the cheerleading practice room. There's a big window in the back that you'll hopefully quickly recognize as we move right along into the final room on the right. I call this the smaller gym room because we've got a girl on a treadmill. She signs the card here, and if you look through the doorway at the tiles in the previous room, you see they've still got that same checkerboard pattern. The letter is then handed off to another girl who takes it up the stairs and then is taken down a hallway to Elle's room, and I believe those were sets because nothing up here really matched. This building sits on the campus of Alverno Heights Academy, which is an all-girl private high school, but I do believe the area is typically open to foot traffic if you wanted to come and visit. And if you're a weirdo like I am and you want to call and ask to see the inside, the event lady seemed very nice. Now out here in the courtyard is where Elle and her 2 best friends are speculating on whether or not Warner is going to propose. Look at that corner of the building behind them for reference. Here's a matchup from the foyer after Elle walks down the stairs to Warner just before the dinner date that is not going to go as Elle had hoped. And here is where Elle is dropped off in the front of the building after Warner dumps her at the fancy restaurant. So let's go there next. Alright guys, this is Il Cielo. It's an Italian restaurant. It's really fancy. It's known as the most romantic place to eat in Los Angeles. And it's the restaurant where Warner breaks up with Elle. She thinks he's going to propose, but he breaks up because he needs a Jackie, not a Marilyn. Right now, I'm with a Jackie and a Marilyn. Scout on tape.
The most romantic restaurant in Beverly Hills. We're just waiting for the music to be turned down and the party to be over, so we have to wait like 5 hours.
Yeah. It's in that room back there where they filmed. We'll show it to you.
Brunch in Beverly Hills. We've told a lot of people about that today. and they're having brunch in Beverly Hills, but we're here to do some actual work. So they better get them.
I don't know if they know that there's a shoot happening here today.
Yeah.
All right, I got tired of waiting, so time to crash a bridal shower. No one said anything though. We call that cinematic immunity. The room is still pretty much the same as it was. You can still see the columns on the sides, and these cherub things on the wall are visible. They were eating to the right side of the room, and most of the shots were in the back of the room, facing where Scott and I were standing. I didn't want to walk all through the table, so no matchups, except for this one. The next part of the breakup scene was done about 4 miles away, so let's head over there. So we're now on UCLA's campus, and this is the spot where she storms out of the restaurant. She's upset that Warner's just broken up with her, and she walks down this sidewalk as he tries to convince her to get back in the car. They had a bunch of lights up in the trees and on the house and stuff, so it looks pretty different, but this is the giveaway, these little beams that stick out. And then she agrees to get back into the car.
No, why would she go back with him? Don't go back with him! You're gonna meet Luke Wilson in like 20 minutes.
So Elle Woods makes it into Harvard, which is a Frankenstein of locations. Done here in Los Angeles, they had to find buildings to match the architecture, or at least be similar enough to stand in. They fooled me when I was a kid, but what did I know then? The locations that I know consist of UCLA, Rose City High School in Pasadena, a courtyard at an Episcopal church, and right here at USC, University of Southern California. And this building, this George Finley Bovard Auditorium, stood in for Elle's dorm. So this is where she moved in. On the right was the moving truck, and she drove up to the left and gave Bruiser some water right about here. Also, as soon as she gets outside of the car, you can see this door back here. That's the library across from the Alumni Park. That's right behind her head. On UCLA's campus, right across from Moore's Hall, in this little plaza is where Elle goes to get her, I guess, her class schedule. I don't know if you do that in college really, but she was picking up something. Maybe she was looking for whatever clubs. That was all here. Here's my matchup.
I think so. It's syllabus, isn't it?
So for the next scene, we're still on UCLA's campus, and I apologize guys, it's getting dark. We've only got 2 days here. I would have liked to do this one in the daytime, but that's all right. Now this is the backside of that same building, and this is where they meet. Kind of have an icebreaker, get to know each other, and they sit on the lawn here. We meet a few of the secondary characters. That was all right here. All right guys, so we are in Rose City High School, which was the interior location for Harvard. They have a handicap ramp here now, but at the time it was just stairs straight up here. And you'll recognize this board right here. That's where all the stuff was posted, like class schedule, who was going to be the interns of the year. You recognize the doorways back there. I love this little spot at this Episcopal church, which is supposed to be Harvard. Another piece in the collage of what makes it up for Legally Blonde. And this is where she meets Emmett for the first time, played by Luke Wilson, who was sitting on this side of the tree, while she sat right here. So here's a couple of shots to match that up. Something interesting about this place is that, you know, we're obviously in Los Angeles. They had people dropping painted leaves all around them as this conversation was going on. This is also where the now famous TikTok sound was done.
I'm sorry, I just hallucinated. What?
And Luke Wilson gives her hints on how to please the professors at Harvard. Alright guys, so this is the DZ Pinner Podley Real Estate Office, and this building was Neptune's Beauty Nook in Legally Blonde. This is where Ella goes to get her nails done when she's upset and meets Paulette for the first time, played by Stifler's mom. I could not get in, they close early on Fridays I guess. It's locked, nobody's in there, but I peeked through the windows and you can see where Paulette's station was set up. You can also see right here where this desk is, kind of where Elle teaches them all the bend and snap for that very odd sequence. Now this is a quick shot at Christmas time that shows Elle hanging out in there with Paulette. And that was right through these two windows here. It's really the only shot from outside where you can see the inside of the building. All right, again, disappointing I couldn't get inside, but how about this? What are the odds that a UPS guy shows up trying to deliver a package to the salon from the movie at the same time I'm there? I don't know what this means. Maybe it's nothing, but I thought it was worth recording, and that's why you're seeing it right now. But let's go ahead and go to our next spot. Now we're at this amazing place called the Heritage Square Museum. All these classic old school houses, kind of look like New England houses. But you can walk the grounds here during hours, and they have interior tours twice a day. But I just found out that you can't film inside, so I gave mine away. However, this is the house, the party house. She's invited by Vivian to a costume party. Now this is a trope. She comes in costume and they all make fun of her. So the room where she walks to Vivian, that was in that room with the bay window, and then the room with the keg was all the way in the back, but I'm told that that looks completely different now. They've put walls up over where the chimney was, and it's kind of like an art gallery thing. Up above Glendale and Pasadena is a botanical garden and forest called Descanso Gardens. They also have a restaurant, and that stood in for the spa in the movie, where Elle and Emmett go to question Raquel Welch about her late ex-husband's murder. Now we gotta backtrack a little bit for our next spot, so let's head back to USC. So after the spa, Luke Wilson brings Reese Witherspoon right up here and drops her off here. You see this building in the background with the arch, and then she walks up in this direction. And then right about here is where the nerdy guy was asking the girls out, and they were making fun of him. She stops because she overhears it as she's walking up these stairs, then goes and slaps him in the face and says, "You gave me the greatest pleasure of my life," and then didn't call me back. She tried to help him out a little bit. For the law offices, I'm calling it the law offices scenes, where they met with Professor Callahan. They were filmed in this building right here, 801, in downtown Los Angeles. The security guard was not having it when I went in there. He told me I couldn't do anything without building approval, not even take a picture on my phone, but I think they filmed everything on the 12th floor, and then in this lobby you see her leave after Callahan hits on her. This is the corner that they went out of, and you can see this corner of the building in the background when she goes out these doors. So I'm up here on the 3rd floor at the old Orange County Courthouse, and this is their courtroom. It's marked online that they filmed the courtroom scenes in here on some places, but it's actually not correct. I looked online and saw the pictures and thought maybe there's another courtroom in there because this one doesn't match the one from Legally Blonde. This one was actually used in Catch Me If You Can, which is another great movie. So I wonder if they shot the courtroom scenes on a soundstage or another courtroom. But they did shoot the scene where she descends the stairs and goes off into the light. So let's go see that staircase, which is just out here and to the left. So after Elle Woods wins her court case, her first ever, she comes down these stairs, followed by a lot of people, and then she goes out the door. Now the film would have you believe that she walked out of these doors, but they don't appear to be the same ones. So I'm guessing when they cut to her walking out, that was somewhere else. I always thought it was funny how you can see the sheets that they put up to diffuse the light. You can see the 3 of them attached together as she's walking out the door, but apparently that was not filmed here. And now let's head out to the final location, which is even farther than this. Now we are in London, of all places, at Dulwich College, founded in the 1600s, 1619 to be exact, and this is where they shot the final scene of Legally Blonde, just in the Great Hall here, where you see those stained glass windows. Those are the exact ones you see behind Elle Woods. Why did they shoot the last scene here? Let's go inside and I'll tell you exactly why. All right guys, so for the final scene of Legally Blonde, why did they do it in London? The story goes that when they showed the first cut of the movie to test audiences, they did not like the resolution where she walks out of the courtroom into some white light and that's it. They wanted to see more ending. Well, they decided to shoot the last scene here in London because Reese Witherspoon was out here filming The Importance of Being Earnest. She had to wear a wig because her hair was different for that movie, and I think it was just her and the professor, the female professor whose name I forget, that was actually out here and shooting here on the campus of Dulwich College. And they did reverse shots for everyone else. They cut it up with these scenes. I believe Luke Wilson also had a wig. He was shooting Royal Tenenbaums and shaved his head. So that is the story. This was the final scene from Legally Blonde. No, we did not travel all the way to London just for one spot from Legally Blonde. There's a bunch of videos, really cool stuff that we've got coming up, so make sure to stay tuned, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like as well. Click here for another Filming Locations video, and click just here for a playlist of our videos, and we'll see you in the next one.